I've been using Fiasp now for 2 weeks, having made the switch from NovoRapid. Here are 3 things I like about it, and 1 thing I'm still not too sure about. The first one is the most obvious one, is the speed at which Fiasp works, especially when compared to NovoRapid. I've been using NovoRapid now for years, and having to wait 30 minutes for my pre-bolus between injecting and eating is pretty tiresome. With Fiasp, I can cut that right down to 5 minutes, even first thing in the morning when I am most insulin resistant. Number 2 is how long Fiasp stays in your body for. Now, I like to exercise and I like to run, and I usually do that at lunch times. And when I exercise, I try and do it with as little insulin in my body, as little IOB as possible. Otherwise, my blood sugar levels would just absolutely plummet about 5-10 minutes into the exercise. Now, with NovoRapid, I used to inject, and I used to have to wait 4 hours between injecting and doing exercise. Otherwise, my blood sugars would, as I said, they would plummet. I found with Fiasp, I can probably cut that down. I've been doing it about 3 hours between injecting and doing exercise, and to be honest, I've not really had many issues with it, so I can definitely manage to shorten that gap a little bit from 4 hours down to 3 hours. Now, of course, not everybody is the same. Some people will be okay exercising with insulin in their body. For me, my blood sugars just absolutely plummet if I have even a little bit of insulin in my body. And the third thing I've found is actually the reduction in harsh glucose spikes I get while using Fiasp compared to NovoRapid. Now, I think this is probably due to how quickly it works. I think it's, 2.5 minutes or something it can start working in your body, which means that the spikes aren't quite so aggressive. You know, they're kind of maybe a slower rise instead, which means you can take correction doses if needed as well. Now, speaking of correction doses, this is the one thing I'm not too sure about with Fiasp compared to NovoRapid. I knew before, when I was on NovoRapid, if my blood sugars were slightly high, say around 12 or something, I could take 1 unit of NovoRapid and it would bring me, personally, down about 3.5 mole, bring me back into range. I found that with Fiasp, however, I need almost twice as much insulin to have the same effect of reducing my blood sugar. Let me know down below if any of you guys have found out the same. Now, having said all that, and only being on Fiasp for 2 weeks, the one thing I keep on thinking is that I wish I made the switch sooner. Spending all those years waiting 30 minutes between injecting and eating, when I could have done it pretty much as I sat down to eat with Fiasp, is really annoying. All that time wasted waiting to eat my food. Let me know what you think down below. A lot of people have asked me how I made this switch. I mentioned that I wanted to try Fiasp at my last endocrinologist appointment back in the summer, and they gave me a trial. They gave me both the big flex pens as well as the cartridges that I use for my smart pens. Let me try both of them. And now I have made the switch formally. My prescription is now changed. I'm now fully onto Fiasp, and NovoRapid is hopefully in the past.